Can we actually talk about Caitlin Clark's defense? Caitlin Clark might be one of the better defensive guards in the league. I'm not going to say one of the best, but she might be in the top 50%. And this is the scariest part about this, is that when Caitlin locks in, unless it's Carla Late just has Caitlin's number. And if you guys agree with this point, leave a like. We are trying to get 500 likes and we are trying to gain subscribers. We've lost 450 over the last couple of days. So if we could, that'd be great. If we could, that'd be absolutely great. That being said, like late on in this game, Caitlin Clark realizes, okay, in this scenario here, she stunts on Alicia Gray. And you're like, okay, you're down 4. She gets to Izzy Borlase. If Izzy Borlase hits the 3, Izzy Borlase hits the 3. And then as soon as the play's there, Caitlin's just like, okay, yeah, there's 4 seconds to go. Let me chuck it and nearly, imagine that shot went in. But like, let me just get it up. Let me get it up there. And then most of these fans seem to be Fever fans. Not only that, but through this game, she played great defense on Ryan Howard. Fantastic defense on Ryan Howard in this game. And then watch her, 47 seconds to go, tie game. Watch her trying to guard Alicia Gray here. She's staying in front, forcing that step back. And then they don't score, neither team scores again. But like, she is locking down Alicia Gray here. Like, we are watching a guard, and this is a crazy thing to say, but like, Caitlin Clark is better at guarding superstar guards when she locks in than any guard is at guarding Caitlin Clark. Like, when Caitlin locks in, like, she is a two-way player. That being said, her defense really stepped up in the second half. And what happened then? Her offense went down. Like, her offense went down. So you can't play fully locked in defense and then do what Caitlin Clark does on offense. You just can't. And that's not a knock on Caitlin Clark, but like, you just can't. We've seen it with Ryan Howard. We've seen it with all these players. You can't. There is no way in the year 2026 you can be a true two-way player. And the problem is that Caitlin's not a great off-ball defender. She still isn't. And another problem with her not being a great off-ball defender is that when you're trying to hide her, she can be a liability. But like, there was no reason for her ever to be off the floor. She's guarding Alicia Gray again in OT. Alicia Gray stays in front, forces Alicia Gray into something tough. She forced Ryan Howard into an unbelievable miss. And then they called a phantom foul. Ryan pushed her off. She stayed up, got into good positioning, hands up. And then she played a good defensive possession here. And she did a good job forcing Ryan Howard into fadeaway. And Ryan Howard just flailed and they gave her 3 free throws. That's a good defensive possession right there. Like, Caitlin Clark is a really impactful defensive player. And I think that she is vastly underrated on that end of the floor. Like, I think Caitlin Clark might be a 7.5 out of 10 defender. I think she might be an 8 out of 10 defender when she locks in. Like, I don't think that's a crazy statement to make. That, like, she is an 8 out of 10 defender when she locks in. Maybe an 8.5 out of 10 defender. Like, she is the best defensive guard on this team. I don't think anyone can really, in good conscience, argue that. She is a way better defender than Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. She is a better defender than Kelsey Mitchell. She is the best defensive guard on this team. And yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the offense takes a bit of a hit when you're playing lockdown defense. And we saw that today. But like, no, we don't need... We had Swin Cash trying to teach her how to guard a pick and roll. We don't need any of that anymore. Like, she can stay in front of nearly anybody. And it is like... It is mad. It is a mad one here. And we've seen, again, the narratives with Caitlin Clark. And we've all been pushing the look. Caitlin Clark is this really good. She's become a really solid defender. She's become really solid. I'm not going to say great defender because again, she picks and chooses when she plays defense. And unfortunately, and like that happens. Like it's not NBA 2K. Players, they don't have the energy to play both ends for 40 minutes. But like when it's needed, when her offense isn't there, she can now lock in and be the best defender on her team. Like she couldn't do that in the past. Whatever you want to say, there was no version of Caitlin Clark in the past that when things weren't going well for an offense, she wasn't shooting the ball, that she could say, okay, I'm going to be the best defender on my team. There was never a stage. That version of Caitlin Clark did not exist. It did not exist. And again, I got to give credit where credit's due to Caitlin Clark. Because defensively, it is a lot of IQ. It's a lot of IQ and it's a lot of just willingness to do it. And I have no question about it that like Caitlin Clark's willingness to go up at her IQ is getting better. Like she still gets beaten a few times because a lot of her defense is containment. So like you can still, if Caitlin is guarding you, you still have the ability to pull back. Like a lot of Caitlin Clark's defense is containment. She's going to stay in front of you. And if you want to take one dribble and pull back and shoot the three, you can still burn her in that scenario. You can absolutely still burn her. I have no question about that. Like you can absolutely burn Caitlin Clark by doing that. But at the same way, like you've got to give credit where credit's due to Caitlin because it takes guts to say, okay, I'm going to expend. I'm the greatest offensive player of all time, but I'm going to spend my energy on the defensive end. I'm going to help us win this game however I can. And again, this version of Caitlin Clark is second best player in the world. And I think it's getting harder to argue that. Maybe there's a flimsy argument for Olivia Miles, but I still don't think Olivia Miles, until we see Olivia Miles get the scout report on her for a season, and Olivia Miles could be. I'm not saying she's a guarantee to be worse than Caitlin, but at this point in time, it is. Like, and Caitlin's, I mean this when I say this, like Caitlin's year 3. Caitlin's the best player in year 3 we've seen since like, I don't know. Like there's been a couple of year 3 MVPs, like Della Dawn won in year 3, Lauren Jackson won year 3, AJ and Stewie won year 3. But they weren't competing against the media who didn't like them, and a player averaging 26 and 10. They weren't competing against that. But there's no reason why Caitlin Clark shouldn't be in the MVP race. She is now locking up people on defense to end games. On defense. That is crazy. That is crazy.